Okay, here we are. Okay, hello, welcome everyone. Happy to start this new journey, hosting events, interviewing people from Web3. So, by the way, I'm Claudia from Cyberwear NFT, which is a platform about digital fashion. And it's basically your getaway to connect with people from the field. And it's really a good occasion to networking. You can just meet new people, learn, and also working maybe, or hiring, or having a partnership or sponsorship. So it's a really good way to meet people. And we also have lots of designers that work with us. I'm here today with Sharad. It's really impressive because he built it in the 1995, the first digital agency in the Middle East. And then later in 2010, he started to offer AI, big data, and other technology, while in 2021, they entered in the Metaverse, starting to find solutions for Web3 NFTs. So now I'm sure that he's going to speak more about that. And recently, Sharad opened a community called Meta Shapers, and it's really a strong community, right? So thanks, Sharad. I give you the floor.
Yeah, thanks, Claudia, and thanks to Francesca as well for having me here. I was recently in Spain, in Valencia, where I presented on this topic, Virtual is the New Real. And I'm happy to share this presentation with your audience because I truly believe that Metaverse is not only the future, but it is happening now. And all of us need to understand the new technologies, as in Web3, the Metaverse, NFTs, DAOs, tokenization. So there are a lot of components in these new technologies. In a changing world, we need to keep up to speed. So I will start with my presentation. And the best way really to understand about the Metaverse is to look at the evolution of the internet. As all of you know, the web 1.0, the internet itself started around 1995, and we were the first agency in the Middle East to start offering web design services. And it's been a long journey. It has basically taken 26 years for the internet to evolve from the dial-up modems where internet was so slow to today where we have very good bandwidth and we can watch Netflix on the internet. So it's been 26 years for technology to evolve. And as far as Web3 Metaverse is concerned, it's really new. So we need to be patient and we need to give it time to grow. And very quickly, I'm sure most members of the audience already know, Web 1 was read-only, it was static. Web 2 became read-write, it was interactive, the age when social media really took off. And Web 3, which is relatively new, is about reading, writing, and owning our data. And this is very important because users can now monetize their content, their digital assets, and they don't have to rely on the old big companies, like Facebook, Twitter, Google, etc., who actually made all the money without generating any content. They made money on user-generated content. Users were you and me. So this is our chance. This is our time to take control of our data and figure out ways of monetizing it. So that's how Web3 has evolved over the years. Now, when you look to compare, Web 1, Web 2, Web 3, this is a very interesting chart that I came across. Actually, it was presented to me by a friend. His name is Kerry Oberbrunner. He's based in Ohio, and he has a very successful publishing business. And also, he runs a podcast. And I was fortunate enough to be on his podcast recently. And I do recommend your audience to check him out, to connect with him on LinkedIn. And he has some amazing content that he's generating on a regular basis. And he's also been doing some virtual conferences with global speakers. So, a very, very interesting person in the Web3 space. I also want to highlight in this chart that you are looking at the second row, which talks about the concept of transhumanism. Transhumanism, in my opinion, is one of the pillars of Web3. And what it means in very basic, simple language, it is a belief that technology can solve any problem on the internet. Think about it. We could live to be 150 or perhaps 200 years if through technology we could slow down the aging process. So I believe that transhumanism can be a concept that in Web3 can be a game changer. It can help us change, many things that we take for granted and make them super efficient and better. So this is an chart which shows the evolution of the web through various phases. And so you can see here some more information which explains how on different aspects of life the internet has evolved and continues to evolve. These are some of the new companies that are being born as we speak. On the left, you have Web2 companies: Chrome, Spotify, Slack, GoDaddy, LinkedIn, Drive, Upwork, PayPal, YouTube, WhatsApp. We are living with these. These are all Web2, but these are also evolving into Web3, more blockchain-based, technology-based companies. And some of these you might have heard of, some of these you probably will hear of, and definitely I can tell you in the near future, we will all be using most of these platforms for conducting business. And the main reason would be that they would be decentralized, they would be transparent, and we will be able to own and monetize our digital assets. So keep a close eye on these companies and check them out. Technology is moving at the speed of thought, very fast. You cannot blink. If you blink, you miss it. You have to be always on, 24/7. So my company, Cybergear, has compiled a glossary of almost 175 terms and phrases in the Web3 space. And you can download this guide for free. All you have to do is go to cyber-gear.io and you can download it as a PDF. And not only on Web3, we have produced similar guides for blockchain, for NFTs, for tokenization. And we continue to upgrade these and update these every month because, like I said before, technology is moving very fast. So it's very important for us to educate ourselves on an ongoing basis. This is a question that I'm asked many times in a day by the people that I meet. And the question is, how can brands transition from Web 2 to Web 3? This is a very important topic, and every company in any industry, in any geography, needs to know this. We recently conducted a webinar on onlywebinars.com. This is a platform that I own and started 2 years back when COVID happened. And I encourage all the viewers to check this website, onlywebinars.com, and you can see a host of webinars that we have organized in the past, which are about the metaverse, NFTs, DAOs, tokenization, etc. So have a look, and you will find these panelists who are global from all continents talk about this subject. So there are a lot of takeaways and a lot of learnings on this through this webinar. Now let's get on to metaverse. What is the metaverse? It depends on your idea. It depends on what you think the metaverse is. And nobody is right and nobody is wrong, because in my opinion, the metaverse can be whatever you want it to be. And this is my definition that you see on the screen. The metaverse is what the internet was supposed to be. It's the evolution of the internet, a decentralized place where individuals like you and me have the freedom to create, own, and monetize our digital content. So that's the key. And I also like to refer to another definition by one of the people I admire in the industry, and that's Kathy Eckel. And she has a very simplistic definition, which is metaverse is about a seamless convergence of physical and digital lives. And that's true because we are already in some ways in the metaverse, because we are, all having a large part of our lives being dictated, in the digital space. And even Zoom, in a way, is early part of the metaverse because it allowed us to connect with people across the globe in real time, have meaningful conversations, etc. So just moving on, why should we take metaverse seriously? What is the big deal? A lot of people are asking that. Some are cynical, some don't even believe that it exists. But there are a lot of independent studies that you can find on the internet. And the one I like to refer to is by Citibank, which, according to their analysis, says that metaverse could be a $13 trillion economy by 2030. And it really doesn't matter whether it is 10 trillion or 20 trillion, that time alone will tell. But the important point they make is towards the right of my slide, which says that 5 billion people on the planet will be in the metaverse by 2030. Now, this is huge. Today, I guess our population is between 7 and 8 billion people. And there is only 60% adoption of the internet. There are a lot of countries in, for example, Africa, who still are not connected. They have no internet access. But if you go by this study, and let's say there'll be 10 billion people by 2030 on the planet, 5 billion will be in the metaverse, almost 50%, right? That's huge. So we cannot miss the bus. We have to get onto the bandwagon now, and we need to start building for the future. A lot of money is being pumped into the metaverse as we speak. This is an analysis which says $77 billion have gone into this industry in the last 18 months. And what you see in this chart are some of the big acquisitions that have happened. I'm not going to read through this, but I'm happy to share this with your audience. And these are some M&A deals that have been successfully concluded. And of course, there are more that are in the pipeline. So it's only going to grow with time. And that's another reason why we need to take this whole metaverse space seriously. In terms of market size, these are some of the figures that are out there in public domain, growing year on year, both in terms of adoption, in terms of number of people who are, spending a few hours on a daily basis into the space. And it's growing. All statistics show an upward trend, both in terms of number of people and dollar spent. These are some more stats. Again, these are in public domain. This is not me trying to convince you that you should take the metaverse seriously. These are published stats by the Big Four and companies that have invested in original research. And clearly the metaverse is going to play a major role in business. So metaverse is not only about gaming and gamification. It has its roots from there. But I think the real traction will happen when people start using the metaverse for business. And that's where I see a huge upside for all of us. These are some stats I like to share, which show how from 2018 onwards, the sales of headsets are soaring. And I think mass adoption will happen when these headsets become more sophisticated, less chunky, and the price comes down, from what it is today, around $350 to perhaps $100. And that's when, in my opinion, mass adoption will happen. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but it might happen in a couple of years. So from what I'm reading and what you might be reading, there are a few big players in the space who are working 24/7 to make this happen, because that's going to be the game changer in this industry. Let's talk a little bit about the ecosystem. Okay. This is what is called the Metaverse market map. It's very crowded, but trust me, these are just a few of the prominent players who are in this space. There are lots more. I couldn't possibly have put more company brands and logos in one slide. But the important thing to note is the layers of the metaverse: experience, discovery, creator economy, spatial computing, decentralization, the human interface, and the infrastructure. I talk to the founders of some of these companies almost on a regular basis, and they are building very fast. Like, they're going from 0 to 100 in 60 days. It's happening at breakneck speed. I call it a seismic shift. And I'm sure some of the people in the audience can feel the tremors. If you can't, then you need to have your ears to the ground, because I can sense those tremors talking to these people. And a lot of evolution is happening. A lot of metaverses are being built, in my opinion, or as per my records. There are about 1,500 large metaverses that are being built as we speak and will be launched towards the end of this year. And of course, there are many more which we have not heard about, but these are the ones where we have a good idea of what they are trying to do in this space. So it's a very busy market, very crowded market. We need to focus on the problems that we are going to solve, because I believe you have to be an impact entrepreneur. You just don't have to be an entrepreneur. There are so many already, right? I'm an entrepreneur, you are a possible entrepreneur, and there are so many others. But you have to be an impact entrepreneur, which means you are going to solve one big problem in this world, and you are going to be a change maker. And if your metaverse is going to help achieve that, you are going to be hugely successful. This is another question I'm asked on a regular basis. What does metaverse mean for business? And those are some of the points I've given there. Basically, it's going to allow, or rather, it's going to provide a new lease of life to brands to offer immersive engagement. And it's going to be like an additional sales channel for brands to meet new customers, especially the Gen Z, the younger audiences, on a global basis. So brands need to figure out who is their target audience and how they can reach out to them in a meaningful way. And that, I think, will be the defining point for the longevity of any brand. And what is the future of work? The future of work is hybrid. It's digital. Going to office is old school. It's Web 2. Web 3, in my opinion, is work from anywhere, right? So you could be working from a cafe, you could be working from home, you could be working from your friend's place, from Starbucks, whatever. As long as you are connected, you are in play, you are in business. So I think the new way of working is to be always on and connected. A lot of big companies are now establishing their headquarters in the metaverse. This is a new trend we are seeing. And they are doing that for good reason, because they want to engage with their customers and their communities in the metaverse. And I've given just two examples here. There are lots more. And Consensus, the company that has created the MetaMask, the wallet, has even got a floating bar and an amphitheater, and they host corporate parties in the metaverse. According to KPMG, this is a new market opportunity and a new way to re-engage talent and a path to connect people across the globe through a new collaborative experience. There are lots of hybrid event platforms you can find in the metaverse. Some of the ones that we have used, there is mootup.com, there's journey.live, there is youarenowhere.com. We've hosted successfully a few events in the metaverses, and I suggest your audience to try these out. Instead of having your next meeting on Zoom, you can have it on any one of these platforms. It's in 3D. You can have your avatars. You can remain anonymous if you choose to. You can have one-on-one conversations without going into breakout rooms. So it's a whole new experience. Today, it's a novelty. It's something new. But trust me, after a few years, it will be mainstream and commonplace. And so, like I said, metaverse is for every industry, for every geography. If you are in the news business, like you are CNN or a newspaper, you can do so much in the metaverse. I've listed some of the points. For example, you could have an editors meeting in a virtual newsroom every morning instead of on Zoom or physically in a conference room. So these are new ways of using technology to do your business in a cost-efficient way and in a more meaningful and immersive way. So there are lots of case studies. I'm not going to go into details. I'm just going to run through, but I'm happy to share this presentation with anybody who chooses or requires a copy of this. You can go through this in detail because I've showcased some actual brands and what they are doing in this space. So it's good for holding events such as these. Entertainment is huge in the metaverse. Concerts, even marriages have started happening in the metaverse. You can create a hologram, you can teleport in many ways, etc., etc. So those are some virtual concerts that were held very successfully. And look at the audience. Travis Scott had 27.7 million viewers. In which auditorium or which theater can you have 27 million people? You can never have them. Only virtually it's possible. So metaverse is a good place to reach out to large audiences without having to take care of a physical infrastructure. And the list goes on. These are some more concerts that have been held successfully in the metaverse globally. And e-commerce is going to be huge in the metaverse. E-commerce will move to experiential commerce. And you can set up your virtual stores, you can have avatars, people can do digital try-ons. And for fashion brands, this is the low-hanging fruit. And it's got a sustainability component because as you might know, most brands today sell only 50% of what they make. And the balance 50% is either liquidated or goes to landfills. But if you have a digital first approach in the metaverse, you only manufacture clothes when people buy them. So zero waste, good for the planet. These are some case studies of brands globally. Zara, Nike, hugely successful. They have experimented, they are the first movers, and brands need to decide whether they want to be leaders or followers. I prefer if they are leaders. And if you look at manufacturing, a lot of companies now are moving to the metaverse because it is cost effective. BMW, Lockheed Martin, big companies have big plans in the metaverse and they've already started. Healthcare is another, industry where there is a lot of mass adoption. A lot of operations now are being conducted remotely, virtually in the metaverse and successfully, if I may add. Hospitals are setting up. There is Tumbe Hospital, Yashoda hospitals that have already set up in the metaverse. You can do virtual consulting with doctors for common health issues. Education, again, is huge. The biggest requirement right now is for people to understand and educate themselves on new technologies. And what can be better than learning in the metaverse about the metaverse, right? So big upside on training programs. Microsoft has taken the lead in classroom training using the metaverse. So all new concepts can be taught in an immersive way rather than in a static way through classroom trainings. Another use case of metaverse is the real estate. And this is going to be big, in my opinion. Sandbox, Decentraland, CryptoVoxel, Somnium Space are the leaders in the space. And anybody can buy digital space and build whatever they want to. It's relatively new, but they've had a lot of success stories already. So look out for this space. Tourism is another big industry. Thomas Cook has taken the lead, and there are interesting stats that you can look at. And these are some of the impact metaverses that I work with. There is Utopia, which is out of Australia. They are going to keep people safe in the metaverse because that's a concern. We don't want our children to go to casinos and use our credit cards or see adult content for that matter. So Utopia will help keep people safe. DNAverse is mapping the DNA of every person on the planet, and then they are going to relate it to your digital avatars so that you have a unique single sign-on, as unique as your DNA. Voltil is another impact metaverse out of Dubai, which is offering immersive experiences in different spheres of life. Web3 is about community. This is huge. And I'm a fan of community building. And I work with one of my clients, which is All Stars Women, NFTclub.com. And we are building a community of 10,000 women globally. And the founder is my friend based in Dubai. Her name is Leila Hurstel. And together with her, we are building this powerful community, which is actually going to empower a lot of female leaders in this space. So they are not only involved in conversations, but they are actually building businesses which will employ a lot of people. So we are doing rather looking at the bigger picture of inclusiveness and women empowerment. I started Meta Shapers, as Claudia referenced, a few months back, and this is for like-minded people in the Metaverse, NFTs, Web3. We also have an active WhatsApp group. We have a lot of events in the Metaverse, a lot of community events. We share a lot of good content. So yeah, do join this. All you have to do is go to meta-shapers.com, create your profile, takes less than 3 minutes. And if you want to join our WhatsApp group, you can just message us. So we, like I said, hold networking sessions in the Metaverse. This is an example of our previous event, which had some workshops. It had a panel discussion. We have a theater, and this is on Spatial. If you are interested in attending our future events, which next one is in mid-October, just reach out to us through our website. Very interesting thing, we organized meditation in the Metaverse with one of our partners, and he has a sound and light app, very successful, and it helps people, through the digital detox by spending some time in the Metaverse just to relax and be mentally fit. We are doing a lot of webinars, like I said, having conversations. The next one is on 27th September. All you have to do is go to onlywebinars.com and register. They are free to attend. And there are lots more which are on the website for October and November. And you can also see about 60 webinars which are archived on our website. I also run a fireside chat. It's a weekly fireside chat called Meet the Metapreneur. where I interview owners of businesses, and these are some of them. Again, you can visit the site meetthemetapreneur.com and listen to these thought leaders who are going to be, in my opinion, impact leaders for the future. And then finally, what I want to say to all is this industry is moving very, very fast. And like I said, if you have seen the Metaverse bandwagon, you have missed it, because the idea is to be on it. So keep learning, keep educating yourself, keep networking, go to conferences, meet people in real life, and you can stay up to date. A lot of people say the future is now. I like to say the future is wow. And I think you will agree with me. This is a very exciting time and a very exciting space to be in. So if you are not already looking to pivot to Web3, the time to do that is now. And this is how you can stay connected with me. You can scan this QR code. You can send me a WhatsApp. You can email me, or I'm very active on LinkedIn. I have almost 30,000 C-suite connections there globally from 160 plus countries. Happy to share my knowledge and my journey with you. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. So I'm going to stop sharing and back to you, Claudia.
Okay, thank you so much, Sharad. It was really nice. And yes, I will add the links of Cybergear, the company, and all the communities and stuff that Sharad mentioned before. So now if someone have questions, just raise your hand and I give you the floor.
Well, I can see one of my friends in the room, John Scott, who says thank you. And Naveen, who's again part of our Meta Shapers group. Yeah, so I'm on a regular basis with my community, and we love what we do. We've become really good friends over time, and these are friendships for life, which we all cherish, and we like to grow together. And there's more to come in terms of what we are planning. And yeah, like I said, exciting times to be alive, exciting times to be part of Web3, to put it out there.
Great. Super cool. Okay, there is Francisco Vince that I can let you speak. Okay, great.
Thank you, Sharad, for the presentation, and thank you, Claudia, for being an amazing host into this podcast. I want to just more than a question. I just wanted maybe to bring you to a brainstorming one moment, because the presentation was so extensive that it really brings me to understanding more what is the history of technology. And I wanted to say, let's think about computers like in the 90s. They were used mainly, they became part of our mass adoption for like emails and internet mainly. Then one day arrived iPod from Apple. That was one of the, let's say, it brings music to our life. So that was the main use cases of iPod. Then we had the mobile phone, and of course, like it was the biggest opportunity for us for having calls all over the world at any time, and not just need to rely to our phone at home. So let's say that any new device that we use, it mainly arrived into our world for a single use case, and then it expanded to a lot of more. So I guess that Metaverse is definitely fruitful through VR and AR, and I think that augmented reality AR is going to be the device, let's say, that more will bring users to mainstream adoption. And I just wanted to ask you, like brainstorm with you, what do you think is going to be the use case, that the single use cases that will drive mass user adoption into AR, like the examples that I made before, going through the history of technology. I don't know if you have some ideas, or I don't know, maybe we still don't know because it still has to be invented. So I just wanted to pick your brain on that.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. And in my opinion, AR, VR, when they combine with what we call MR, mixed reality, that is going to be a game changer. And mass adoption will happen in time, not in the very near future. In my opinion, down the road, maybe a couple of years, 3 years. Big companies, again, like Apple is on it in terms of coming up with very compact lenses, which are almost like the glasses that we wear today, which will allow us to, have those immersive experiences. And I can predict with a lot of confidence, the next device on our desktops that's going to go away is the keyboard. There will be no more keyboards anymore, just like the printers have gone away because of sustainability reasons. Like Dubai, for example, Dubai government has a carbon footprint policy where printers are not allowed in any government offices anymore. You cannot print a single piece of paper in any government office in Dubai. HP was very upset when this call was made because they lost billions of dollars selling printers to the government. But that was it. So everything changed once this became policy, once this became law. Similarly, I predict the demise of the keyboards because we will just have screens and all of us will go into the screens in an immersive way. So we won't need this device called keyboards to enter. And all this is in the near future. It's not like far away. A lot of hardware players are working as we speak. In fact, when I was in this NFT show, I saw that HP is investing billions of dollars in creating new smart headsets. And in fact, they were demonstrating one. So all the money they used to spend in making printers and other devices, other peripheral devices, they are now investing in new headsets. So they have to make up for those losses, of all the Web 2 devices to transition. So I believe that all these big brands with deep pockets, for their own survival, are forced into creating new products for new technologies, and we will see them being rolled out over the next couple of years. And that, in my opinion, will be when mass adoption happens. And when we will see numbers, we will see traction, we'll start seeing ROI. And like you said, which are those use cases? I find fashion industry will have a lot of use cases, especially because brands will be able to deliver products seamlessly to customers globally based on their needs. And so what I'm also trying to say here is that we won't have to buy a shoe that Nike or Adidas wants us to buy. We will buy the shoe that we make ourselves, that we design ourselves with our colors, with our brands, with our logos. So power is going to shift totally from the large brands to we, the users. So you and I will decide what shirt and what suit we are going to wear, and it won't be the bosses of the world that will dictate those terms. So that, I think, is a dramatic shift in the power when it switches from big brands to we, the people. I hope I answered you.
Yeah, no, I definitely. I mean, thank you for this answer. I agree. I think that if we have to name one use case based on what you said, it's customization. Let's say customization, complete customization of everything that we have and we use. It will be the use case, and yeah, I mean, we will just have to see how these new technologies are gonna support it.
Yeah, and there'll be less wastage and good for the planet, a more sustainable environment, which again is a game changer, really.
I agree. Okay, thank you for your answer. Thank you, everybody. I will now have to leave now, but I will leave you keeping on. Have a good day.
Thank you. You
Thank
too.
you, Francesco. Thank you. Okay. I have a question, just speaking about digital fashion today. So can you advise a particular metaverse for digital fashion now, or you think that depends on the brand?
Yeah, it depends on the brand, but what I can tell you is I'm on the advisory board of Metaverse Fashion Council. It's an entity out of Los Angeles that started some 5-6 months back. And from what I know, Metaverse Fashion Council is building its own metaverse with a community which is growing every day. And in the future, that'll be a good place for brands to come, because building your own community takes time and is expensive.
Yeah.
So even if you are big, it will take time. You can't have 10,000 people in, let's say, 6 weeks. It just doesn't work. You cannot buy, you have to build, and you have to engage, and you have to nourish and nurture. So it takes a lot in community building. And I know a thing or two about that, having been involved in a small way in community building, right? So it's a time-consuming process. So I believe that brands who have already started building communities will succeed in the long run, not necessarily building their presence in the metaverse. You can build a presence in the metaverse in 6 weeks flat. It's not rocket science. There are tools, technologies, people, resource available. So that's easy. Building a community is hard. Like I said, takes time. So all brands, even if you don't have a metaverse strategy, just start building a community. And that's not like difficult to start. You can build it on any platform you choose. You could do Discord, Telegram, WhatsApp, what have you. But start now, and not only about numbers, build a community that is of quality, of like-minded people, and very important, nurture and nourish them. Otherwise, they'll go away. They'll just not stay because there's no engagement. There's no good content. So one community manager, I believe, is not enough for this job. You need to have a lot of brand ambassadors, a lot of people involved who are stakeholders, who take responsibility, who show up. I cannot say I'm an active member of a community if half the time I don't show up for events, right? I'm no good. So you need people who show up. That's very important. And people who contribute, and people who raise their hand. And I like to network with those people. And they are the valuable members of the community. And that's what every brand needs to start investing in. It doesn't matter whether you are fashion or you are sanitary ware, it's about having the right community to back your brand. I hope I answered your question.
Great, thank you. And John Scott, is it
yes.
right? Would you like to add something, or?
Yeah, just Sharad, it's interesting because as I'm launching Web3 Strategy Bridge, which is my strategic approach to helping companies bridge the gap from Web 2 to Web 3. I'm curious, in your experiences working with Web 2 or legacy companies, what you see as their primary block to leaping into all the possibilities and potential that Web 3 and all the associated chain technologies can do for them. Do you have an area you think kind of blocking?
Good question, and simple answer: lack of education. Okay. They don't know what they need. And that's where we need to fill in the gap. We need to talk to leaders, and not only leaders, even middle management, because leaders in turn have to sell to the middle management because they got to implement, right? Leaders can't implement themselves. So they need to educate bottom up the teams and walk them through what the new technologies are about. So there's a technology aspect to it. Like you need to know blockchain, you need to be a coder. Then there is the architecture of it in terms of creating that roadmap. And then, of course, it's the thought process, right? State of mind. And you cannot succeed in Web3 with a Web2 mindset. I say it like I've said it 100 times already. So Web3 is about a mindset and starts from the top. So we need to get the leaders to up their game, to sign up for this. And it's a big commitment. You can't suddenly wake up one morning and say, I'm a Web3 guy. It doesn't work that way. Even I'm not a Web3 guy. I'm work in progress, right? It takes time. But we have to start now. Otherwise, we are clearly going to be left behind. Smaller brands are going to, have the breakfast of the bigger brands.
Yeah.
Because the bigger brands have not started to make their moves. So I think now is the time. Yesterday was the best time, but now is a good time for brands to wake up, smell the coffee, start learning, hire the right talent, and don't go to your cousin. Okay. And I say it in a very nice way. Your cousin is not the one who can help you transition to Web3. Hire experts, okay, who have experience, who can walk the talk, and who can connect you to that whole ecosystem. And let me be very honest, there are no experts yet.
So I was going to say that's so funny, because that's the one red flag I always tell my clients, especially in this space. The only thing you have to be concerned about is someone telling you that they're expert in this, because
that's where
all
the red
learning.
flag should go up, and you should say, really, seriously? But the good news is that Web3 has very honest and transparent people. So I've hardly ever met anybody who is kind of faking it. They're real people, and they will share, what they know with you, and you need to then create that ecosystem around you, which can guide you through different steps. And there are people who've, like I've recently met, and who have already done a few projects, and they've had learnings, and that's the kind of people you need to associate yourselves with. So to answer John Scott's question, leaders have to be educated in practical ways. They have to know it's a process. It's not a switch that you turn on. And over time, like maybe 6 months to a year, brands can transition in a meaningful way. And once they see success, it's automatic. They will replicate it across the globe. So you can start in one location, in one city with one branch. And once you succeed, you can replicate it quite seamlessly in quick time. So I think that's the approach brands need to take.
Great. Thanks, Sharad. Thanks, Claudia.
Yeah. So thanks, Claudia, for this. Even I have to make a move for my next Zoom meeting. So I'm happy to have been here for, last 50 minutes sharing whatever my learnings are. Like I said, it's work in progress. We'll be happy to come back another time, hopefully, and share all the updated information with you, because it's growing on a daily basis. And look forward to seeing you in real life in Dubai.
Yeah, would be amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, John Scott. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.